were you watching?
Me?
I did all that work. We were late, and you didn't even watch the new intro.
I was dancing. I watched. Hello, everybody. Welcome to an inside moment of our true and authentic friendship, because that is literally how life works. She does all the work, I do the dancing. This is how our life has been for like 10 years. Anyway, hello, and welcome to Sexologically Speaking. Squirrel! I am DeVika Lyles, M.Ed. I am the owner of the Center for Transformative Sexology. And this is my patient and highly focused friend who runs Biz Storming, an accountability business of which I have none. I have no accountability at this moment to watch my own intro. So, anywho, I'll watch it later. Okay. Hi. So, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. You told me it was this amazing month about these amazing things that we should talk about, but I didn't hear you.
Oh, that's a squirrel. Squirrel. Hello.
I was working on a fabulous video.
I did not watch. Squirrel. Hello. Okay. We're gonna grow up. We're gonna grow up in this moment, and we're gonna have a real conversation. So, as I said, my name is DeVika Lyles, and I am the owner of the Center for Transformative Sexology. And this week, it's always a week that it's always like a conundrum for me, right? It's like Black History Month. I'm glad we have it. I'm sad we have to. Because when we have things like Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month and Trans Awareness Week or Month, it's generally not because we are just simply coming from an abundance of celebrating or acknowledging those people, but because those people have and continue to fight to be seen, heard, and valued in normal society, such that their history, their awareness, and their experiences, even in 2023, are set apart from the norm. If they were just something that we were doing and embracing, it would be less melancholy. And especially the reason we have a lot of them, like Black History Month or Hispanic Heritage Month, and especially Trans Awareness Month, and Trans Awareness Week, and then this Sunday, on the 19th of November, is Trans Remembrance Day, and I would love to say that this is like a celebration of who they are, and that they've always been here. And I generally call this week Cisgender People Need to See Day, not that transgender people need to come out day. Cisgender people need to remember, not that transgender people need to do anything to be remembered, because they've always been here. But Trans Remembrance Day is the fact that we lose a lot of transgender people through murder, through abuse, through suicide, simply because, again, there's not like a natural space for them in society, even though they are a natural part of society. And so this is a bittersweet conversation for me, because I wish it were different. I wish that we didn't have to. I wish that we just saw people in their fullness as they are and as they are not. But we have a lot of people who make it unsafe, even for Trans Awareness Week. People make it unsafe for them to be seen, which is just just blows my mind. It just blows my absolute mind. Because again, it's not from an abundance of acceptance, but in the face of it. And so, since the 13th of this month, and it ends on Sunday, you know, there's been articles, there's been more activism, there's been more articles, uh, but it's not been as in your face. It's just been like conversations. I think they've learned to tone. Society has learned to tone it down a little bit so that people are still safe. Because sometimes even in sharing about Transgender Awareness Week, we put people at risk. And what I'm doing right now is because I want to be accurate because the number is constantly changing. And this is what I was looking for when I did not pay attention to your beautiful intro. Is the numbers are always changing, and I have to be more, I have to like get the most current. So in as of 4 days ago, 320 trans people um, have been killed. And 94 of them, 94% of them are women, and a great number of those are women, trans women of color. So this impacts a lot of intersectionality. One, people of color are constantly reminded that in no matter how we show up, we are disposable according to society. Secondarily, women, however we show up, and I'm going to say that one more time, however women show up, the murder of trans women shows us that however women show up, women are disposable in this society. Take that as you will. The fact that they're mostly Black, it's not only, sexism, but the racism is palpable. They're doing this in the way that, like, I want to be really sensitive, but I'm angered. I'm angry. And so sometimes I get upset when I'm angry. So I want to just do something inside of a safe container. For those of you who are like, but they're men, I got it. For you, trans women are men. Clear. If I take your stance that trans women are men, then this is a threat directly, by your view, against Black men. That's what is the threat against. And if you give them their womanness, it's a threat against Black women. As a Black person, I don't know how I'm not supposed to be upset about that. I don't know. However you cut it, however they show up for you, their Blackness is part of that for me. So I don't know how I'm supposed to have that conversation and feel like, oh, well, it's not the same because they're, you're not. No. Consider, I don't care. Consider it's not, for me, about their gender. For me, it's about their humanity. For me, it's about their human beingness. For me, it's about their families and their communities and their children and their legacy and whatever they were doing to contribute to whatever tiny little corner of the world that they were over there doing whatever they were doing over there. They didn't deserve to have their lives interrupted or displaced simply because of who they are. I want you to be very, very clear. These murders are not because someone was stealing or self defense or whatever else. These are simply because people are who they are as they are, whether you agree that they are who they are or not. Like, I don't care that your agreement is persona non grata. It is not important. If you are who you say you are, if you are a Christian, if you are someone who believes in love and faith and generosity, then the murders of these people would bother you. If you're not a racist and you value all lives matter, all lives matter. Remember, that was your answer. All lives matter. Then these people matter. And their lives matter. And their families matter. And their children matter. And I get incensed. I just get incensed that one, it's a day or a week, but this number changes so often and so quickly that if I check tomorrow or a couple of days from now, it'll be more than that. So I just want to take a moment to just be with that, a moment of silence to just be with what I'm saying. Imagine somebody just being who they are and not making it home because of who they are. Where else have we seen that? Where else have we experienced that? Where else in the world is that happening right now? This is an epidemic. This is a problem. And it's not about being aware. It's about just opening your eyes. It's about literally paying attention. It's very simple to see people as they are and to love them as they are and to let them just live their life as they deserve to. So at the end of this, I'm just going to take a moment of silence. But Brittany, I just wanted to give you a moment to respond, and then we'll just close with a moment of silence.
I think one of the things that you said, when you said, this is what I care about. This is where I care, and I don't see where you like this is my care and consider my care in this moment. You then later said these people died as they are. But here's the thing. They died because somebody's opinion forced them, that person created anger in that person to remove a being for being. And when we look at race and sexuality and presentation in who and how, there's so much around, everybody knows the story in Wyoming. Everybody knows Kyle's name. That's one of the very first instances that came through. And so when you're able to understand those instances, and when you're able to think about how many have come after Kyle, and now we have a specific count on just trans. Just trans. If we even counted the lesbian and gay and bisexual,
And
and if we
intersex and intersex people.
introsex, all of those spaces, if we opened up those counters, why do we only know Kyle's name?
Mm.
Why do we only know that person who we went to high school with? Because I can tell you that I know Kyle's name because I actually had a Kyle in my hometown. Why are those the spaces and the names that we only know when we're at a trans count of 300? And I'm guessing, DeVika, that's this year?
Yeah, that's since January of this year.
Right. So what was last year's number? What was the number before that?
I have to look.
And right, and that's the question here is when we're remembering, we have a difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, right? And here we are inside of a week of celebration where they get one day to remember millions, I'm gonna say, of people that don't even have a barbecue.
So to answer your question, of the ones that were reported, 83% were people of color, 54% were transgender women, 71% were killed with a gun, 26% of the victims were with a known killer or someone who knew them. And I think the part that hurts is that more than half of them, 56%, were misgendered or dead named, meaning the, that who they had left behind, that's the name that was used. So even in their death, they weren't honored for who they were, even though who they were is the reason they're no longer here.
Yep.
So I don't want to, rush, but I also want to make sure that we are mindful of the time. And so, Brittany, just go ahead and finish us out. And then at the top of the next minute, we're going to just close out with a moment of silence.
We're just going to start and I will end us out when we're ready.
Thank you.